Today, I'm going to give you an update about my wife's stroke situation. I'm going to start by telling you an amazing story, amazing experience that is very unique to our situation. So, in my wife's room, there are other young women who had a stroke. And one of them is only 20 years old, and she is fully paralyzed. She cannot press the calling button that asks the nurses to come and help her with whatever pain that she has. However, the nurses are not usually in the room. And when she cries during the night, for example, they can't hear her. So my wife, she presses the button. She listens to her crying, she presses the button, the nurses come. This week, my wife told me, this young lady, she told her thank you for calling to the nurses. And I asked her, how is it possible she cannot communicate in any way? So she told me that this lady, using her eye movement, she told her grandmother to say thank you to her. It actually makes you cry when you listen to those stories, only from the hospital. Even when we think that nobody sees what we do, even when we think that small acts of kindness, nobody sees them, people see them, they affect, and they can alleviate the suffering of other people, no matter how difficult your situation is. So these is kind of the stories that you encounter when you spend 5 months in the hospital. And this tells you a lot about my wife. And my goal is, at some point in the future, to bring her and create a video to say thank you so much for everyone who sent their love throughout this time. Now, don't get it wrong. It is difficult what we are going through. There are moments that you want to run away of this reality. You want to find something to distract yourself from the reality of your wife having a stroke. Sometimes on the verge of succumbing to pain and frustration. But every time I come back again to the hospital, I fall in love again with my wife. I guess this is why we married in the first place. So this wasn't changed. If anything, it was enhanced after the stroke. Because this is an opportunity to see the person you love the most overcome one of the biggest struggles life can bring to them. And she continued to have a positive attitude and be kind and somehow think about other people. This month, we had a bump in the road. The doctors found another large blood clot, this time leading to the lungs. It seems that my wife's body is very proficient at creating new blood clots. And this is something that we have to think about, not just to overcome this stroke, but also in the long term, preventing future strokes. And if you wonder, probably it has to do with some genetic disease, the same disease for which we came to London in the first place. Most people don't know that, but we relocated to London because there is a special clinic that treats and specializes my wife's genetic issue. However, the good news is that she overcome this blood clot, and now again she's on the road to improvement. About the channel, I continue to work on the next episode of Resveratrol. It's going to be a terrific episode that's going to give you more insights into how the longevity pathways in our bodies work, because this molecule really tells the entire story of human metabolism and human longevity. In that video, I also have something interesting that can help you improve your habits and establish routines for a long time. So I hope you're going to love this episode. Before we go, big thank you to all the patrons of this channel. You helped me a lot during this tough time, and you helped me a lot to stay connected to love instead of worrying about everyday survival. I could focus on my wife and the love that is between us, and to continue to produce videos in this channel. And the last thing, remember, small acts of kindness produce waves that sometimes none of us can see, but they influence the world. People hear and see what you do. Every act of kindness counts. So she told me that this lady, using her eye movement, she told her grandmother to say thank you to her. So even when we think that nobody sees what we do, even when we think that small acts of kindness, nobody sees them, people see them, they affect, and they can alleviate the suffering of other people, no matter how difficult your situation is. It actually makes you cry when you listen to those stories, only from the hospital. That can only happen when two tragedies convert. So these is kind of the stories that you encounter when you spend 5 months in the hospital. And this tells you a lot about my wife. And my goal is at some point in the future to bring her and create a video